All right, I'll give some time for some people to hop in here and put on my Poindexters because they don't glow back at you guys as much apparently. Yeah, and I can still read with them even though the light's low. I have my notes. Yeah, I was Ninja's good. Ninja's real good, man. Let me tell you. All right, here's some stuff about platinum that I've noticed. Just a nobody iron worker, 10th grade, didn't even complete 10th grade, bad education, all this other crap. All right, here's what I got. In 2008, we had that bad bubble burst. Platinum was at $898. 2009, it jumped up to 1461. 2010, it jumped up to 1755. In 2011, down to 13. 2012, it was at 1527. 2013, it was at 1345. 2014, it was at 1206. 2015, it was back down to 891. It started at 2008 at 898. So you have 898 and 2008. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8th year it went back to its price. What I'm seeing is we are heading towards the 2008 price again. Not price, but similar economic scenario where things bubble, crashes, and stuff like that. So I think it's going to repeat. I predict it'll go lower than $898 for a low in 2023. But by 2025, I imagine it's going to be, if we don't get a financial reset, it's going to be about between 18 and 2200 an ounce. Again, that's minus any reset. All right, here's some facts. Platinum is the most precious metal. 30 ounces of gold are mined for every 1 ounce of platinum. There's not that many reserves or mines on the planet. There's tons of gold and silver comparatively. Platinum's known as the noble metal. The reason why it's known as the noble metal is because it's resistant to tarnishing and corrosion. At least that's what YouTube said, or Google. Platinum has a $100 value. It's the highest denomination for U.S., listen to this, U.S. legal tender coin. Legal tender. Platinum legal tender coin. But notice it's at $100, and I always say it online when I'm in the chats. The platinum coin has a $100 value on it, and the gold coin only has a $50 value on it. Someone intentionally did that. I can't figure it out as of yet. Okay, the price at the time of this filming, platinum is at 1040, like 1040 EZ, but it's 1040.77. And a little something about palladium. Palladium was first known as a monetary metal in 2017. No one's going to tell you this, but I did the research. All American Eagle coins are legal tender. The first palladium Eagle coin was minted in 2017. That makes it legal tender. Hi, JM. Sorry about that, brother. Combination of some of the bullion coins are mind-blowing. Yes, they are mind-blowing, and I don't understand. You missed the facts I gave. I gave a whole bunch of facts. Hopefully people will watch it later. But yeah, I don't understand how they go about making a monetary value for a coin and what criteria they use for making a coin, giving it a monetary value. Obviously, if there's any common sense to it, and this is what I'm going by, if there's anything to it, it's platinum's got it. It's twice. Somebody thought it was valued at twice what gold is. Silver maple has 5. One never made sense to me. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm trying to find out and do research on what criteria the mints use to value. Now, what we might have to watch out here is legal terminology. on value and cost and price. They have different meanings. So I'm going to look into that as well and see if I can't figure it out. But I don't see why platinum is going for $1,040 an ounce and gold's at $1,900 an ounce when the royal mints, the sovereign mints, every mint out there values platinum at twice the value. So I think we have a real big economic game that's been going on for the past 100 years, at least, maybe. And if we're coming to an 80, 100, 50-year cycle ending, I've been looking at platinum again. The use case for platinum is going to go through the roof thanks to Elon Musk's space operations. We're now looking at going to the moon. To go to the moon, they just discovered H3, hydrogen 3. It's on the moon. That's needed to make jet fuel, rocket fuel. So for them to be able to mine and manufacture rocket fuel on the moon to provide that, the savings to that is outstanding, because you won't have to carry as much rocket fuel, which makes it cheaper to send it to space. If we have a space station out there on the moon that, Phillips 66 or Shell or Chevron or whatever, dispensing out product from the moon that's damn near weightless to launch from. It's a lot better and a lot cheaper. You think it's cheap to launch a rocket now? It's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper in about 10, 15, 20 years, somewhere around there. And platinum's going to be needed, because to refine a lot of your minerals, like, for example, we use 3M glue. It's a spray glue. Well, back in 1992, 93, when it was coming out, Monsanto had to create a system to aerosol and combine that aerosol with the glue, and it was a chemical called Vidine, a very, very explosive chemical. But they had to make the Vidine, it had to run through a platinum screening in its process. No, I'm not a chemist. I don't know any of this craps, but they had to. I did find out. No way I found out is someone. They used a 3-foot tall platinum screening, real fine mesh screening, and it was in a roll. It came up missing one day, and the FBI showed up there. They shut the plant down, in place. No one's leave anything. We were there like 16 hours. They were searching everything, and finally they said, "Hey, if it shows back up, we'll let everyone go home." And mysteriously, it showed back up, and we went home. I don't know if they ever found out who stole it, but platinum screening back in 1992, it was after I got out of the military the second time, they were using that to make Vidine, and they had Vidine. They need Vidine to make spray glue. The applications of spray glue in your cars, in everything, in any apparel that you have, there's spray glue. Not any, probably 30% of apparel. There's a lot of good stuff out there still, a little pricey, but still good stuff. So platinum's needed for that here on Earth. It's needed to make and refine different chemicals because of its corrosion resistance and there's a couple other good things that platinum is awesome for that gold and silver are not, when it comes to filtering and being used as a catalyst for manufacturing of chemicals. The amount of cancer medications. A lot of cancer medications rely on platinum to be made. They don't tell you that. Oh, it's only catalytic converters. No, that's what they want to tell you. That's what Joe Blow down the street knows. If that's all you got for saying platinum's value, you don't know nothing about platinum, and you need to pay attention, because there's more than catalytic converters. Because catalytic converters were using palladium before they used platinum until the price flip-flopped. And they've already stated, and I did a video on this, that they're going to be using palladium again because the price is going to flip-flop again. And that is going to put the price of platinum into $1,800, $2,000 plus range, like I said at the beginning of this video, and I've said in other videos. I actually did a video on the auto industry stating that they were going to switch back to palladium once the price of platinum got too high. Well, if the palladium's at like 1,800 and platinum's only at 1,040, what do they know? These are the questions I ask when I come across these reports. And I think they're good questions. And that's how I come up with a lot of my conclusions for what to invest in, is I ask unique questions that people don't seem to want to ask because they don't really get what question to ask. Another, speaking of stocks or investments, this was it. Let me see. It's SFRX. small little company. I was looking at them at 0.00034. They are a treasure hunting company. You're like, treasure hunters. No, what you need to realize is they started about 17 years ago, and their price per stock was about $3 to $4. They had a great idea. Technology did not catch up until now. They've refined the idea that they put out back in 2003 when they came out, 2004 when they came out, and their stock price was $3 to $4. They actually have that model now because technology caught up to them, and the price of the stock was only 0.00034. Last I checked, it's 0.0077. That's about 10 times your money, and it's going to go back up to $3 to $4, if not higher. That's why I suggest that stock along with Arcadia Economics, Chris's available stocks that he likes for his miners. I'm totally down with his thought process on those. If you had 100K to deploy into physical bullion metal, how would you deploy it percentage-wise, gold, silver, platinum? That's a good question. If I had that kind of money, I actually would buy some gold because just to have it on hand. But I would take $2,000 of that $100,000 and buy a metal detector because I'd get more gold with that metal detector than with that 1 ounce at 1900 for gold. And then I would buy probably 10%, including that 2,000 going to the metal detector, 10% gold, probably 30% platinum, and 60% silver is how I would break down $100,000 if I had it by percentage. But the gold would go up because of the $2,000 investment in the metal detector, because I'm in Northern California and the gold rush is right near me, and the 1849 gold rush is real close to me. So I can go out and find gold. There's people out finding gold. I had an iron worker apprentice that ended up quitting the union, never made his apprenticeship. I had to end up firing him a couple of times. Good hand, but he lived on the Amador River up north of here, just south of the gold rush discovery in 1849. And if he went out after a hard rain or bad winter and he panned along his river edge and he found enough gold, he didn't come to work. And that boy would stay out of work for a year or two because he found enough gold to replace an $80,000 a year job. So there's gold to be found out here. So I really don't like buying what can be found. And there's a lot of public land out here. I haven't gotten to it yet because I don't have the 2,000 for the metal detector, but that's what I plan on doing. And also there's gold in Vermont in their streams. There's gold in Georgia. There's gold in Alabama. There's gold in Kentucky. There's gold all over the place. They just haven't talked about it. No one's telling you about it. So if you watch like Rachel McD, she's a friend on a lot of these financial channels, these precious metal channels. She lives in Australia. So I started watching some Australian, opal hunter, gold hunter type thing. Man, you can't kick a rock without finding gold, without just finding it. These people find a couple gram nugs just by going out there with a metal detector in 30 seconds. Beep, 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 beep. And they find gold. I've never seen anyone find silver or platinum. Now, Rob from Gold to Silver Pros says that you can find silver. You can mine it. You can pan for it. I've never seen a program about that. I did hear of mine about 100 miles north of Austin in Texas. That's a silver mine where it was like shut down in the 1800s. No one seems to have opened it back up, but how they discovered it is they panned and found it. So there might be a huge silver reserve in Texas that they haven't discovered, or more likely they've intentionally not looked at until the time is right. And if you look around the world, you have silver, copper, zinc. All these mines are shutting down in China and Peru and all these other countries. Why are they shutting down? When other countries are open up, like here in California, we're fixing to open up the second largest open pit gold mine on this planet in California, the most environmentally regulated state in the freaking planet. And we're going to have an open pit gold mine, the most polluting, destructive gold mine you can make. They're going to make it. Why? Because in 1850, the government shut down the gold rush because we had too much gold and not enough paper to back that gold. And that was going to screw the economy up. So the government shut it down and federalized all that land. Now you can go back in history and see how much percentage or ounces of gold was taken out of the ground by the 1849 gold rush people, and ask yourself, times 9, that's what's still in the ground. Do your research in history and all this stuff. I have a very, very good, valid reason for not wanting to buy gold. I know it is plentiful, more plentiful than they are leading everyone on to. The amount of gold that they're looking for is bigger chunks, big chunks that you can like see through. Oh, there's a chunk right there. But there's fine gold. If you get yourself a little sluice box, you can recover the fine gold, which is what up in Alaska, when Yukon, Freddie Dodge and all these people that do the mining up there, that's what they go for. They go for the fine gold. They don't go for the nuggets. Nuggets have been gone up there because it's shallow ground for gold anyhow. It's not like a lot of it there left because the old timers actually did get all the nuggets. Well, they didn't get all the nuggets here in California. You can still find nuggets in California. And that tells me, since no one's been looking for gold like they have in Alaska, all this dredging stuff to get the fine gold, you can go out there and find it easy enough. You just go back, and here's again looking back at history. Back in 1849, California had like 100 inches of rain a year, 100 plus inches of rain a year. How many valleys and crevices on those hillsides and mountains had water rushing down them damn near daily because we had so much rain? What we don't have now is we don't have 100 inches of rain. We only have maybe 12 inches of rain. And everyone's looking at the rivers that are now here. Well, shit, that's only 10% of them. Look for the 90% that are gone because we lost 90% of our rainfall in the past 100 and some years. And go to those dry riverbeds and creek beds that are coming down outside a mountain. I've done research. Ain't no one gone looking for them things. There's plenty of gold out there. Sorry for jumping on gold. It's just I really think it's personally, do some research. You'll probably agree with me. There is a shitload of gold out there. You just got to go get it. And now they have the technology, the refined technology, to where anyone can buy a little sluice box and a little water gatherer thingy, or you can even do dry panning. Not panning. What they do in Australia? It's dry blowers. They use dry blowers. And they get gold so small, man, you can't even see through. It's like microscopic pieces, but yet they get ounces of it because there's so much of it out there. And then you got to think about, well, how did it get that small? Well, it starts off big chunk rolling down the river. Well, what happens when it hits a rock as it's rolling down that river for hundreds of miles? Microscopic chips coming off every freaking one of them things. So the hundreds of millions of ounces of rocks, big chunks that they pulled out, there's probably 10 times to 100 times that of the small angel gold, I think is what it's called, the real small particulates. Dan Hurd, yes, yeah, I'm glad JM you watch him. Yes, there's tons of gold, and he shows you how to get it in the bedrock areas. What I'm talking about is, again, if you look at just the history of our planet, and you look at Australia and the continent of Australia, and see what it's made of and why does it have so much gold. And then just look on different areas of the earth that has that same formation. And you'll find we have some here in America, but they haven't been looking for gold. But yet geologically, it's the same. Now, the reason why they haven't been looking for gold is because it's not in the big chunky form, where a corporation has to throw 15 million at it and get their profit margin back, so it's not worth it. But if you're small timer, like most of those Australians that I've been watching, you could easily go Alabama, clay. They say clay soil, the orange clay. That's what they have a lot of over there in Australia, and all the gold's embedded in the clay, the orange clay. Go to Alabama, try not find an orange clay, and tell me why should this orange clay in this part of the world on this continent that has the same shelf design as this continent over here that has clay that has gold in it? Why doesn't this one? Because there's not a TV station out there doing a news report on it. Because no one's doing it. That's why. Because no one's talked about it in this country. Mud Fossil University gave me some insight into how to identify areas to look for gold too. Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for. There's so many variables. There's the easy way of looking at the landscape and seeing the bumps, and you're like, go explore that bump if there's a lot of large rocks underneath it. That's tailings, or not large rocks, but decent sized rocks to large rocks. there'd be tailings mines. From old timers, a good spot to look for the fine gold, because they did not have the technology to catch the fine gold. So the gold the old timers got is maybe 70%, and the other 30% they flushed down because their screens were like that big around, and now the screens are like that big around. So obviously you can catch more gold off of what they've already mined. Surface mining or noodling. If you do opals, it's called noodling. I don't know what it's called if you do it for gold. But, there's another way you can get gold without mining, without digging a 1,000-foot hole and chasing ore. I mean, go where I think it's like 3,000 gold mines registered here in California from in the late 1800s. Over 3,000 of them. In the 1850s, 40s, 60s, where they didn't have the cool technology that we have today to catch that gold. So divide those 3,000 up over California. Pretty much anywhere you go in California, if you got the right little screen, dredge screen, or whatever the hell they call it, you can find gold. The trick is to follow the old paths. Like I said, you have to do more research and look at how much rainfall you had 100, 150 years ago, see what the terrain looked like in the past, around the time where they discovered the gold, and then look at the terrain and the rainfall now, overlay those two maps, and then get yourself a where all the mines are for gold, and look where they aren't. You're going to find it, and you're going to find a decent amount of it. It takes a little research. I've done research for years. I've just never had I've always had other shit of doing to follow through with going up. I actually saw, here's another interesting, there's a show called California Gold by Hugh Hausner. Hugh Hausner, I think his name was. It's he did it for like 10 years. He did one show, it was about a 45-minute show on Northern California, where you could actually pull off the side of the road, go down the river and pan, and he ran across a family that was doing this every weekend. They'd find 1 to 2 ounces of gold just pulling off the side of the road in this one spot in Northern California. Now, I've since looked back to try and find that episode of Hugh Hausner's California Gold, and it has been taken offline. So you can't research that. You'd have to trust me. But if you look at all of his inline, all his videos, you'll see the missing one. That's the one. And there's gold all over the place up here. So yeah, I wouldn't invest any more than $10,000 of $100,000 on gold, and 2,000 of that 10 would be to get a metal detector to where I could get $30,000 or $40,000 worth of gold for free. And why buy it if you can find it? That's my thinking. Oh yeah, you have to find platinum. You can pan for platinum, but you've got to be in a placer area of dirt or earth to where they do placer mining. That's the only spot that you're likely to find platinum and be able to pan it. Other than that, it's definitely an ore in rock. There's some places in 1 or 2 mines here in America where you can pan, and after a while you'll find a piece or 2 of platinum. Really not going to be worth your time, but you can do it. And Russia has a place like that. Believe it or not, South Africa doesn't have it, even though they produce 90% of the platinum on this planet. Russia only produces about 8%, and America produces 2% or somewhere around there. We actually do produce a little bit of platinum, but just like silver, it's a byproduct of going after something else. You run across the platinum metals, ores, because they usually run together. You got palladium, you have platinum, and about like 3 other minerals that all are in the platinum family. They all are in the same ore and rock together. So when you find one, you'll find the others. Unlike, very typical to like platinum or zinc and copper. Most of the time when you mine for zinc or copper, you will get silver as a byproduct because it's mixed in with ores. Because the way it is produced naturally is the same as the copper and the zinc, so they kind of stick together. All of the platinum metals are the same way. That's why I say look to Zimbabwe for future investments, because after South Africa runs dry, and they will run dry, mines never go forever, Zimbabwe has the 2nd largest platinum-based ores veins in the world, underneath their country territory limits. Why this information is known and they're not mining it right now? Another good question to ask. Well, if you know where it's at, why aren't you going for it? Well, you're going to wait till the price goes up or wait for technology to catch up to make it more valuable, which has already happened. I just explained how it happened with gold. It's going to happen with platinum, but the technology that platinum is going to be needed for is technologies we don't have right now, and they're coming. They're coming. We have not had technological innovation. We've been sidetracked with internet bullshit and computer bullshit for the past 20 years. Yeah, the electric car came out. Bull crap, man. Ford had an electric car. He wanted to go with kerosene before he went with oil and gas. So they've had these cars already. It's just a matter of who has the patents, who has the money, who has the political control to push it. That's what that is. And that's fixing to come to an end because we need to be innovators and create new technologies to stay world leaders. And America will stay a world leader because I have also seen a program where there is a great new solar power material that's going to be made available in the next couple of years. And I've seen the jacket. It's a jacket, heats and cools you, powered from the sun. Push here, a fucking screen for a radio. You dial in what station you want, and it starts playing. You want to make a phone call, you push this sleeve because that's where the phone is located on the jacket material. That's also solar absorbing, powering the son of a bitch. I've seen it. I've seen the solar panels they have where they are still 90%, 95% as effective after you shoot them or drill through them 30 times on a one square sheet. Drill through it 30 times, and this solar panel still produced 95% of electricity. And it produced electricity at night because it was a lot better solar panel than the shit they're selling us right now that's only 10% efficiency. Really? Yeah, no, we have a technological revolution that's coming. All of Europe's, not all, excuse me. Any manufacturer that's leaving Europe is not going to China. They're coming to America. That's a fact. Research it. That means America's going to be a manufacturer again. So let's see. Oh, that was back in 1971 when we got taken off the dollar. 50-year cycle. That must be part of the 50-year cycle that everyone thinks. Oh, we have a 50-year economic cycle, 80-year economic cycle, 100-year economic cycle. I see all this shit, and I see a lot of advantages to owning silver and platinum. And that one stock I mentioned is a good one. And then, like Rhini silver, Cunha silver. I'm actually waiting to see, and I might actually end up doing it, the Silverado mine here in California. It's a silver mine, Silverado. No one's looking at reopening it. And again, most of the mines that they're opening, they're reopening with new technologies that they didn't have back in the 1800s, so they can recapture who knows how big a percentage of the silver and the gold that was missed by the old time miners that only looked with their eyes to see where the ore was going. And they had to be 8-year college students like we have now to be able to do it. But yet we all know they weren't. They were just old drunks that were out there making some money, digging in a hole in the ground, following what they thought they knew. So of course it's going to be a lot left. And I can't wait. And I wonder why no one has gone and repurposed that mine in America yet. I'm sure it'll happen. I mean, I was amazed when I heard the second largest open pit gold mine was open in California. My first thought was, are they going to go into Silverado and get that silver? That mine was closed down a long time ago, and they did not get all of the silver. So, politics plays a larger part of our economy than our economy does. And that's why most of them fuckers are rich and corrupt. But we can't talk about that because I'll get another strike, and I don't want to do that. Platinum group metals is what they're called. Thank you very much, JM. Yeah, and there's 6 of them. Platinum, palladium, rhodium, ruthenium, and osmium. Yeah. Try and pronounce those yourself. Don't make fun of me. Redacted channel just featured the other day how energy has been suppressed. Yeah, in favor of. Okay, I don't watch them because I don't really like. I don't know, man. I get a bad vibe from them, so I just don't watch it. I think they've got an agenda they're pushing by releasing this information. But And I'm only in 9th grade education. I quit 10th grade, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I go with my gut, and it's been good so far. And my gut tells me there's something going on there. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. I'm not saying don't watch them. I'm just saying I get a sneaky feeling that they're pushing an agenda through releasing information that they're releasing. And I don't know what it is. So, of course, I'm a skeptical guy, and I'm not too trusting of people. I don't trust them. Yeah, a long time ago, they say the brain is the most powerful computer in the world, and we use less than the max I've heard was 15%. They say the subconscious controls most things in our life. Think about it. Do you think about taking every breath? Do you think about making your heart beat? Do you think about the things that naturally happen, your skin exfoliating on its own? No, this is all subconscious level stuff. So when I learned about waking up without using an alarm clock, just by telling yourself, I'm going to wake up at 6 in the morning, and then think about it, envision it, and do it like 9 times, you end up waking up. That's your subconscious. So I decided a long time ago that I was going to try and allow my subconscious to control as much as my conscious life as possible. And that's what I give my gut feeling. That is my speculation is that's my unconscious self telling me, no, Neil, you need to go right. I don't care what left looks like. Go right. And I go right. And it usually works out for me. I don't know why I mean, like when it came to platinum, when I got into this precious metals crap, I was being punished by my union for not being vaccinated, so they weren't getting me a job. So I said, okay, well, I'll do some research. And I got into the precious metals about 2 years ago. And one thing I noticed was no one was talking about platinum. And I was like, how the hell can these people be saying they're precious metals people when all they talk about is gold and silver? Silver, I can see. Gold, yes, gold's going to go up. It'll do its 10x. I mean, you look at the charts, it'll do its thing. But silver's been suppressed, because if silver was allowed to do its thing and it wasn't suppressed, according to inflation from 1971 till now, just at 2% inflation, what the price was only half, not the $50, but let's take it at $25 and do 2% till now, puts it at $235 an ounce. So of course it's suppressed. So that's a no-brainer. You always buy it undervalued. It is intentionally undervalued. And then you start looking and you're like, well, so is platinum. And then you do more research and you look at the history of platinum and what's out there in the mines and all the mineral deposits throughout the world and this, that, and the other. And you find out it's 30 times more rare than gold. Then you hear these gold bugs say, hey, gold's precious because there's not much of it out there. Well, that's a bunch of bullshit lie. Straight up, it's bullshit lie. Because if that was the common denominator of it's precious, so it's valuable, well, then that would make platinum 30 times more valuable than gold. So there's a lot of bullshit out there. So you got to research for yourself and figure it out for yourself. And you can listen to people. You can listen to, like, take cues from me to what to look into to research for yourself. Because I've already done the research. I'm convinced in what I know. So I'm just trying to put it out there so that other people might listen. I got Economic Ninja bought 20 ounces of platinum at about $800. Sweet. Glad he listened. Jake Custom Car Parts bought 1 ounce of platinum for each of his kids. He's got 3 kids. He got it about 900. Sweet. So I have been able to, get the word out and have some people do their own research and say, hey, wow, no one is talking about this, and it is a good deal. That's the only reason I do these videos. Otherwise, it's just cat videos because I already got a strike for telling the truth on YouTube, and I couldn't post a video for 7 days. I couldn't do nothing, and it really killed me. And it killed my channel too. So I went with the kitty cats because they're safe. And then check this out. I discovered just 2 days ago that everybody in America has fallen under this law. And I did a video. It's a 2-day-old video. If you post a video on social media that someone makes profit from, you're a felon unless you get a permit. What permit? That's right. No one knows about it. So there's several 100,000 felons out there, because what they determine is social media and for profit is if you take a video in a national park of your family and you post it on Facebook. Well, Facebook makes money off of that social media post. That just made you a felon because you didn't spend the $125 it takes to get a permit. That happened in October 2022. Be aware, they just made felons out of hundreds of thousands of Americans, and nobody could. Again, go back and watch my video. Hey, Kevin, what's up? Got home from work, still haven't. Detention for you, Mr. I can't buy any platinum. Oops, you can't see that because I work at refineries. I don't do that. That was a Indian cigarette pipe. Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about, JM. It blew my mind. Blew my mind. Everyone's a felon who takes a picture in social media or a video in social media of your family or nature or a wolf or a deer or a turkey or a bird or whatever, car wreck. If it's got national park or any national land behind it in that video and you post it on a social media outlet that makes money off of posts on their social media outlet, you're a felon. The law has not been cleared or defined. Typically what happens in these scenarios, someone in the government will say, hey, let's get rid of this. Let's find someone to try and make an example out of to show how stupid this is so we can have everyone's attention drawn to it so we can take it away. And they look for you to pat them on the back and give them votes when they do that kind of thing. And that's bullshit too. But, you know, that's just me. Like I said, I'm very skeptical and I don't trust people. Everyone's got an agenda, especially this time in history. Is a bad time in history. It's a great time because we're going to be making change and we can make positive change. Having said that, I would much rather live in a prosperous time where we don't have this bullshit problems and people can be trusted. I remember in the 70s in Florida before we moved to Europe, I was very small. I was like 3-4 years old when we moved to Europe. But I do remember we left our doors open because our neighbors would keep an eye out on our house. Nowadays, out here in California, fuck that shit. I would never leave my door open and trust my neighbor. You know, that's been 40 years and our world's gone to hell unchanged. So we can change it back. You know, I have faith that good people like Kevin and JM and the rest of the people that watch this video are good enough people to be able to stand up and start fighting for the right thing, you know, whether it be platinum's value or your neighbor, you know, not knowing who they are because you're not that, you know, society's not that way. I know out here in California, man, people freak out when new people move in and I go and knock on the door and introduce myself. That blows people away. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? People don't do that. Well, how the hell else do I know who you are? You're moving into my neighborhood. I want to know. I do. I'm a dick. I do background checks on people. Megan's Law. I do searches on Megan's Law everywhere I live to find out where the sexual offenders are located. And it's my legal right to notify my neighbors. I do that as well. You know, I've been jumped a few times out in the street because of my antics, but they're legal and they support a civil society where hopefully everyone can be safe, you know? Yeah, that's manipulation, Kevin. Manipulation. We were talking about that earlier in the podcast or the live stream. Silver is heavily manipulated. Gold, if you look at the chart, you know, it's no one's really messed with gold. It seems to be following a pattern. Silver, platinum, there's manipulation there in platinum. Again, I think it's all politically based manipulation for certain things and events to occur that'll benefit certain countries. That's why I think China closed its copper and zinc mines, claimed it was power issues. They didn't have enough power to run them. Well, that means they're not making silver either. And yet everyone's saying, oh, they've got so much gold. They've got so much gold. Yeah, but they don't have anything else. They don't have silver. They don't have copper. They don't have zinc. They got to buy all that stuff. They need that gold to get the rest of the stuff that they intentionally shut down. Why? Peru. Why are they intentionally shutting down these mines? Mexico. There's been a couple mines shut down in Mexico for different civil reasons of the towns and ownership and distribution of funds locally have been why Mexico shut down. It wasn't a political reason. It was locals went ahead and like barred up the doors and rioted and not rioted, but blocked streets and stuff like that till they got their fair share of the money from that mine, which was being denied to them. So it wasn't a government thing in Mexico. I still feel safe about Mexican mines, American mines. But go much further south than that, and it's a free-for-all, and I will not invest in them because it's all political. Because right now, people should be opening up all kinds of mines, man. We're fixing to go into a commodities boom. It's not just gold. You know how many commodities are out there? You got oil. We should be drilling. Here's another political thing. Hold on a second. Why would we have wanted to drill for 2 years? Past 2 years. If oil is not over $100, wouldn't it be politically advantageous for us to shut down our pipelines, let the world go crazy, and let them go off the petrodollar and let the price go to the sky, and then become oil self-sufficient again like we were under the last administration, and export oil at a freaking severe higher, 3 to 4 times higher. The revenue that would bring, see, this is where you got to look at it. And this is why it's political. Because if you look at the scenario I just laid out on the oil thing, you know we have it. Under Trump's, the last administration, we were selling excess energy that we were creating. Now we don't have enough. Overnight. Political. For economic gain for the country. And this is the pain that we got to go through. And I think, again, we go back to the 50, 80, and 100-year cycle, and you see it all combined down, and then Nixon taking us off the gold and everyone else wanting us back on the gold after 50-some years. You know, it's all combined. You got to look at the whole world and get a glimpse of everything to get into the specifics of what you want to do, because everything matters. And everything matters if you want to make the right choice. I mean, what China's doing, it depends on how much money our silver's worth. What? How can China affect our silver price? Well, they shut down all their copper and zinc mines, and that's where they get all their silver from. So the production of silver dropped. So the COMEX isn't going to get as much input, and there's a squeeze going on. You see? All they got to do is start their mines up again, re-put all that silver back into the COMEX, and it all ends. It's political. Everything going on right now is politically based. Long-term political bullshit's going on right now. That's why mines are closing down and mines are opening up. So you got to look at the whole world scene. Oh, dude, JM, man. You know, we're buying 1 million barrels of freaking oil from Venezuela. Yeah, is it Venezuela? Yeah, Biden worked a deal with Venezuela. America's buying oil from Venezuela right now. That didn't make national news, but check it out. They allowed, we allowing them to reopen their oil supply if they sell to us. We extorted them politically. We extorted them. Felony if you and I did it. But our government under the current administration is doing exactly that. They are allowing, and this is a bad thing too, because that means our money's going to Venezuela, and it's not going to the people. It's going to the people that caused the problem, and we're making them rich. It's political. It's all political. So you got to understand the political environment before you invest in anything, because it might look good, but if someone's going to get elected that they don't want there, it's all going to go to shit real fast, because it's not based on numbers. It's not based on fundamentals. It's not based on charts. It's based on politics. Because the charts, you're like, oh, charts, historical charts. Yeah. Okay, let's break out a historical chart for silver. Tell me how many times in history a full country that produces the largest amount of history shut down all their mines. So what's that chart say about that now, huh? That chart's going to be wrong. I don't care how long it is. I don't care how old it is, because they never did that before. A political move that manipulates the price of metals. They do it to everything. They're doing it to oil. They're doing it to everything. We have $60 trillion of resources under our feet here in America. Why are we in debt? Why are we not running more like a corporation to where every citizen is a shareholder getting paid by our government? Because that's how it should be, and we can do it. But that's a hard cookie to swallow and a harder one to sell. Because first you got to get people to realize that everything's fucked up because it's intentional. Political moves have been made, like oil, man. You got Jack Ryan season 2, first episode. You see the American ambassador and the Russian ambassador. Well, we can't have oil less than $60. An American, well, we can't have oil over $60. So we're going to this, that, and the other you. And then the Russian looks back at him and says, then it's economic war. Holy shit, they said it in a fucking sitcom. Oh, yeah, 10% for the big guy. Of course, you know about that one. Yeah, that's coming out too. I mean, there's this Ukraine war. You know, I can't talk about that because that'll get me banned for 7 days, and I'll get my second strike. But I don't like giving money to that and having veterans, you know, give $40-80 billion to a foreign country while we have veterans on the street committing suicide. Huh. Yeah, that one kind of hits right here. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But anyhow, that's my say on that. Jeff Bodine, thank you for joining us, and you are 100% correct. And as long as they give us free money, no one's going to care. I was in a grocery line. This woman, man, she didn't have a job. She looked like all she did was a breeder, you know, for different daddies. And she came in. She had a state. I didn't get it, but the state apparently sent out $600 credit cards to buy food. And this man, I've never seen so many Oreos and Cokes and Sprites on a freaking cart. She was buying $600 worth of shit that's going to kill her and cost her diabetes and all this other stuff. And I'm sure she's going to give it to her kids. I was like, why you give people free money when they don't know what to do with it? And then I got to pay the price because they ain't going to be working. It's totally fucked up. But those people don't care to look and do the hard work of researching that I was talking about earlier in the show that you have to do before you want to take and be serious about throwing your money at some company. You don't just look at the company, you look at the politics behind what runs that company and then the political decisions that make the politics there. Then relook at everything and say, maybe that's not as good as I thought it was, because politics over on this side of the world is going to change. That's going to screw this up, and it's not going to be as good, even though it looks good now. That's why 90% of investors lose money. And, well, I'm going to lose money because I can't change mine around. I tried. I called my union. I called the Vanguard, and I'm under an employer sponsored account. For every hour I work goes in the stock market. I can't roll it over to a precious metals IRA. I can't do none of that shit. So I'm screwed by contract. But most people aren't. And you can, and actually that's part of the reason why I started doing research, because I was going to try and find a fund in the Vanguard that was, you know, somewhat good, and I couldn't. Hey, Rachel, I was mentioning you in Australia earlier in the show. We were talking about gold over there compared to everywhere else in the world, and how the geology and the land mass is very similar in different parts of the world, but no one's looking for gold like they are in Australia. And that's why I say Australian miners, they're going to be awesome, because in some of those shows I've been watching about these miners over there in Australia, they're actually just like surface metal detector type guys. They actually contract people to go metal detect land, let them keep the gold as long as they GPS where they found it for future mining operations. I've seen several YouTube shows where they do that. People get paid and get to keep the gold they find for future mining operations. Man, tell you what, Rach, you are living in a gold-rich country in the next 5 years. Invest in the smaller miners, gold miners. They are going to be booming, because they also had, and I did a video on this, they had a commodities show or expo where they invited lots of different groups, and the one group they did not invite was the Australian government. So all these businesses got together and said, this is going to be the future of gold mining. This is what we have. And they didn't include the government. I did a video on it. I couldn't believe it. I applauded them. They're smart. They got the dummies out. No government involved. That's how I know they're going to be successful in their mining operations too, because there's not as many people in there to screw it up intentionally like the government does. Yeah, well, actually, no, Rach, you guys were founded on a prison colony. Then you found gold. Let's see, we got it. Yes, Jeffrey, BYOB, and that doesn't mean bring your own beer. It does, but not in this case. It's be your own bank. And I'll even throw something in here that I always throw in. And that's how you be your own bank. And invest in stocks that you can look at, like that one I was talking about, the SFRX. And I encourage you guys to, it's not even a penny stock. It's like a hundredth of a penny stock, but it's already gone up 400% in 3 weeks. So $100 would be $400 in 3 weeks. That's pretty damn good. And it's going to go way higher. It's been around for like 18, 19, 20 years. Started out the first 2 years at $3 to $4. It's now down to less than a quarter of a penny. And again, I explained that earlier, but I'll re-explain it. They had a vision when they opened up in 2003, 2004 of a type of treasure hunting they wanted to do that was more environmentally friendly. But the technology hadn't caught up. And their stock went, but then they coasted for about 15 years. They stayed with it. They stuck with it. Technology changed. They've perfected what they started with at $4 an hour, and now they're down to a quarter penny. Well, they perfected the technology, and they're going to be popping it out. So that's going to pop that thing back up. Trust me, it's a good stock to throw $100 at. The best $100 you'll ever throw at something. Hey, what's up, Alex? Nice to see you. Yeah, yes, Jeff. Platinum was up. It was the only, silver was up 3%. Gold was basically flat, and platinum was up 13%. And I asked Rick Rule what he thought about my predictions on platinum being the best thing to have other than silver. And he said, platinums ain't going nowhere. Buy silver and gold. And he won't talk to me anymore. He won't even acknowledge me. But that's cool. That's why I do this, because I see things that the experts, the billionaires, don't even see. I've been telling people to buy silver and platinum for over a year and a half. Rick Rule said, don't do it. Rick Rule, the guy you guys listen to, said, don't do it. Well, his commodity did that well in 2020. Silver gained 3%. Platinum was up 13%. You're welcome. Palladium keeps going down. Of course it is, because I did a show on one of my videos where the car industry already stated they're going to drop palladium for platinum. Yeah, there is, or excuse me, vice versa. They're dropping platinum for palladium. It's going to switch. It was at one time there was more palladium in catalytic converters than platinum, and the price shifted, and then they started using more platinum than palladium. And they've already stated that the price is going to shift again, and they're going to go back to palladium and not use as much platinum because it's going to be too expensive. And that leads me back to who values gold, silver, and platinum coins, because they value platinum the highest. And here's another psychological point. When you go get a credit card, I know in the 70s and 80s and 90s, maybe even in the beginning of the 2000s, it was a big thing. Oh, I got the silver credit card. It's not that good. Oh, I got the gold card. Well, I got the best, a platinum Visa. Well, how could that be better? Even credit card companies value platinum over gold. There's something going on here, and my gut tells me platinum's going to be a play for a while. Yes, he is. Well, uranium is actually a decent investment. I think it's already overplayed. It might, I mean, I like things that go up. I don't like getting in them after they've already started going up. I feel like it's already missed the train. That's why a year and a half ago I said buy silver and platinum. I didn't say uranium. I didn't say oil. Although I regret that. I wish the hell I would have bought 1 trillion barrels at $0. I wonder how that works. I need to research that as well. Because at one point in time, oil was at $0 a barrel. $0 a barrel. I saw that. I was like, oh, shit, we're in trouble. Because things like that happen when bottom's fixing to fall out. And things start, they go like this. Once they start doing this number, it's like a patient at the hospital. Boom, 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 boom. Heart attack. Boom, 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 boom. And that's the stock market. So when oil hits zero, son, the end's coming. It's a foregone conclusion. Be invested wisely before it gets here. I don't know the date, but I can tell you this much. When you have fluctuations that are unrealistic in stocks, the end is near. I don't know what kind of end, whether it's a nuclear bomb, currency not being worth anything, doesn't matter. We're near the end of something. So invest wisely. Let's see, invest in helium. Yeah, it does go up. And actually, as I said earlier, they found helium-3 on the moon. So we're going to have a gas station on the moon here in the next 20 years for all them rocket ships to go further out to do exploration or Mars. Well, obviously exploration. We all seen Star Trek. I'm waiting for William Shatner to show up and say, "Where's the Enterprise?" But then again, I'm not looking forward to San Francisco being blown up by a spaceship either. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard of steel plates being installed in the Priuses to keep people from stealing. This fact, lady lives upstairs from me who owns this whole property. She had a steel plate put over her catalytic converter area, and someone tried to steal her catalytic converter, and the bolts ended up getting loose, but there was also some weld on it so that she had the guy do extra, and they couldn't get to it. And yet her friend's car, who was right beside her, converter was gone. So she saved herself. She spent $600 having that work done, but I'm sure it costs more to replace a. Yes, Rach. And if you look into, see, I'm like Ninja, man. I jump from subject to subject to subject without stopping. If you look at NASA and SpaceX, they signed a contract like 3 years ago, 5 years ago, quite a while back, and they launched their project that they signed the contract on last year. It's predicted 5 more years before it hits its target. And its target is like a $777 quadrillion asteroid. You're like, yeah, so what? You can't get it back to Earth. Hold on. You guys are into stocks, right? You know what leverage is? Okay. Now check this out. 2 years ago, the World Economic Forum got together and decided, hey, let's come up with some rules to who owns what in space and how you can occupy it and own it. And what they've determined, and all like 200 some odd country leaders all signed off on this, it's a law of the world. If you want to own something in space, all you have to do is land a beacon on it, and it's yours. Japan came up with this beacon. It's the size of a Coke can. They landed that sumbitch on a comet because they were doing some tests on it, and then they took the asteroid, the space, the satellite they had, and they landed something on it, blew a little hole in it, got some samples. It just landed end of last year, the samples they got from that comet. But that was a Coke can size beacon. Now you look at what Elon Musk is doing. Dude, if 10 of us wanted to get together and throw $10,000 at it, we could pay to have one beacon launched into space, and in 6 years it'll hit an asteroid, and whatever that asteroid's worth, we leverage it because legally it is owned by us. It's like money in the bank, but it's out there for future gathering. The powers that be, the intelligent people who are running, the lack of intelligent people who are running the banking system and the monetary system, they know this. That's why they allow people to leverage, because also when you leverage shit, you lose it. So what you do when you find an asteroid worth a lot of money, you let people leverage it, because in 100 or so years, they're going to be so outrageously leveraged. You pull the rug out from underneath them, and then you own that asteroid before it comes time to mine it, and then you get to mine it. That's the same as with what they're doing now in gold, silver on this planet. It's just outside this planet, and it will happen. It's Elon Musk is pushing us towards it, and there's already contracts signed, sealed, and delivered, and year and a half off into space already. So asteroid mining, yeah, laugh all you want. It's not going to be asteroid mining. It's going to be land a beacon on it and leverage the fuck out of it, and it'll be accepted because the bankers will accept that, in my opinion. Get a new catalytic converter. Whoa, shit! You paid $100 more for your catalytic converter than the car I've had and ran for 2 years. I paid $1,000 for the car, and you paid $1,100 for a catalytic converter. Holy shit! See, I'm frugal. I would have said $1,100. Let me go buy another car. But I don't need new. I don't like new cars. They're a waste of money. Anything that drops 20% as soon as you walk it off the property, you don't want. You pay $50,000 for a car, and it's worth $40,000 as soon as you drive it off the lot. I don't know, man. You're not an investor. Not a good one. Sorry, because that's a shitty investment. When you could go to the guy who just returned it, who bought it last week, and buy that same car for 30% off. Yeah, so it's got 1,000 miles on it. It's got 30% off. You know, that's a lot more frugal in my opinion. Well, that's not bad, JM. But you're in a cold area too. See, I'm not in a cold area. I would. I'd never live in a cold area. But if I did live in a cold area, I guarantee you, I would have a perfectly working vehicle and heater. Got to have that heater in cold vehicles in cold weather, and heaters only work in nice cars. Shit cars, the heaters don't really work all that time. I paid $1,000 for my car, and well, actually, the car I got before that, it was a 1981 Mercury Grand Marquis, had 87,000 miles on it. One owner. She was 97 at the time, and she couldn't re-up her license, so she was selling a car. And that's the most I've ever paid for a car. That was $1,800. It was immaculate, almost like new. I mean, she like drove it to the grocery store and back for like 30 years. That's all she did. And the grocery store back every now and like every 5 months she'd go to the gas station. That was a good car. But at 12 miles a gallon, it's $6 a gallon. Bye-bye car. I got $1,000 for it, so I got most of my money back. Oh yeah. That salt will definitely rust out the bottoms of the car. Definitely. But that's the benefit of living in cold weather. You have lots of salt on the road. I don't like the cold weather. Yes, they do, Jeff. I live in California, and I just had to have that car smogged, and it cost me 20% of what I paid for the car every 2 years. It cost me 20% of the car. It costs about $200 to have it smogged. It passes because, again, there was only one owner. Actually, the lady who lives upstairs owned it. She bought it new, and she was getting another new car. What the hell kind of car? She got a Prius. She bought a Prius. I hate fucking Priuses. And she didn't need the car, so I said, "Hey, I'll give you $1,000." She said, "Okay," and that's how I got it. But speaking of that, anyone here have any information on what Elon Musk is doing with silver mines? I have it on decent authority, not guaranteed, but pretty good authority that he's buying a silver mine, or already has bought a silver mine in Greenland or Iceland. But I haven't been able to find any confirmation on that. So if any of you guys know anything, let me know. I'd appreciate it. Where's Rach? You still out there? I haven't seen you type anything lately, girl. Okay, cool. Well, sorry you guys missed my platinum report. I had a whole list of stuff I read off earlier. Yeah. Anyhow, can't find my notebooks now. I just had them too. I did a whole platinum spiel. This live stream was for that purpose because Chris Marcus asked me to do a live stream weekly on a platinum report. And I'm like, yeah, let me do a trial run on my own and kind of get it refined a little bit and see if I want to. And one thing I hate is that you see this room. So I'm going to have to like get some sort of green screen or some shit like that before I go on Chris Marcus Arcadia Economics and do anything and have more than 10 people look at my room. Although, yeah, my electric blankets. Yeah. How many of them are on there? I got 5 of them. I have 5 kitty cats on my bed right now. No, 4. Sorry, 4 of them. See if you guys can see that. Yeah. So you got Dixie, Tick, Gandalf, and Ginger. I tell you what, Jeffrey Bodine, the best move we could have ever made in America's history, other than buying the Louisiana Purchase from France, is to buy Greenland. Because what you don't understand about Greenland is the Arctic has already been broken up into ownership of countries, even though no country went in there to like claim ownership. It was decided that certain percentages would be given to whatever countries line up landmass with the Antarctic, and Greenland got about 30% of the Antarctic just because of their landmass attached to it. So America, because we have Alaska, we got like 10-15% of it. Russia got 50% of it. Canada got some of it. You know, So, yeah, there's a big reason why Trump wanted to buy that. That would have been the absolute best investment in the world history for America, because all the minerals and all the gems and jewels and oil and gas and everything that's in the Arctic right there is owned by whoever's land touches it. And if we had Greenland, boy, we'd be rich. But having said that, the Dutch, Holland, I don't know exactly. I think the Dutch own Greenland. That country is going to be one to invest in, because in the next 100 years, they're going to have the Dutch East Indies Company back, because their ownership of Greenland opens them up to 30% of the resources of Antarctica, which have not been touched at all. Gold, silver. I don't know. There might be platinum metals groups up there. There is 60% of the world's resources are supposedly be up there. We only have access to 40% that's not up there. At least that's the statistic I saw. It could have been wrong. I didn't check my source. Oh, there's shitloads of oil up there. They actually have discovered an underwater lake, freshwater lake, with animals, fish in it under the Arctic, because part of it's melting. And Russia, oh God, yeah. I did a show on this. I'm sure you guys probably don't know. Russia is going to be very, very wealthy when that ice melts some more, because the amount of time and money it takes to ship shit the way they're doing it now, to get it over to Indonesia, Australia, Korea, Japan, East Africa, and India, and all those countries. Yeah, it gets cut by 40% if there's a northern route over Russia. And Russia has already built a deep water port in Antarctica in anticipation. And they're building 7 more icebreakers in anticipation of the gold rush that's shipping in their northern waters. As soon as they melt a little bit more, every bit of shipping will go up that way, and Russia is going to be wealthy. Yeah, there's a documentary out there on Admiral Byrd, BYRD. After World War II, he was sent with an expedition down to the Antarctic, not the Arctic, but the Antarctic, South Pole. Watch it. It's interesting. His own words. He says some stuff that you'd be like, what? What? Alien, what? So you might want to watch that. It's Admiral Byrd, his diary on his Antarctic expedition. I think there might actually be a YouTube show. You saw it too? Yeah. Some crazy crap, huh, there, JM? Yeah, I was like, what? The Nazi symbol, what? And then if you study up history, again, which you should question why Germany never attacked America from the inside. Because if you do history, and you know history, back in the 1930s or 20s, there was a national census done here in America as to which language we would speak. 49% of America voted for German. 51% of Americans voted for English. That's how close we were to Sprechen Sie Deutsch, my friend. Yeah, just 90 years ago. And here's some more stuff. Hitler actually told his German people that he had in America to stand down and cause no problems as we were fighting. Yeah, I'm still scratching my head on that one too. If you find out any information, let me know, because that one's bizarre to me. Why he told his German party that were here in America to do nothing to help the war cause. Do nothing. Even if we're losing, do nothing. That's bizarre, man. The History Channel don't tell you crap like that. Oh, and here's another thing. Did you know that we've already apologized to the Japanese for internment camps? You know how many American internment camps there were for Germans? No one talks about it. There was 57 in America. Concentration camps for Germans during World War II. One of them is in Pacifica, about 40 miles away, and they just covered up the plaque because it was in the parking lot of a high school, and they repaved the high school, so they covered up the plaque memorializing where the German concentration camp was, where Americans of German descent were gathered up and thrown in concentration camps, just like the Japanese. And the Japanese got a nice sorries. The Germans don't even get recognition that they were thrown in jail. Learn history, folks. You'll be a lot wiser as to what's going on right now. But anyhow, I don't know how long I've been going. I just, like I said, oh shit, an hour and 10 minutes. Holy cow. I just wanted to get on here and do the platinum report, and I got caught up in BSing with all my friends, which all you guys are, or else you wouldn't be here, or unless you're just taking pictures, making fun of me and drawing a little clown fucking shit on me and stuff, which is cool. I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and end this here as soon as I figure out. There it is. Don't tell the financial prepper, Chris Taylor, that I did a live stream and I knew where the button was to start the live stream. He had a problem last night doing that. You guys have a good one. I appreciate every one of you giving me your time, and I hope that you get some inquisitory thoughts in your mind and want to research some of the stuff maybe I said, just to maybe call me out as bullshit, or to say, holy crap, you're not bullshit, and I thought you were, because it sounded so fucking ignorant. And if I can get you guys just to think, maybe do some research on your own, learn a little bit about history, this all was worth it for me. I don't do shit for money. I'm a moderator on 3 different channels, Economic Ninja being one of them. I don't get no money off of doing none of that. I do it on principle. That's the kind of guy I am. Probably why I'm poor, but hey, I don't give a shit. Anyhow, I hope you guys got something out of this. Know this, I don't sell anything. I don't try to sell anything. And I'm not selling points of views. I'm just telling you guys what I see, how I went about seeing it. And I ask that you look at it and determine for yourself if it's viable for your scenario, situation, investment opportunities, or whatever it is that we happen to be talking about. Yeah, I have a ton of great knowledge because I am a poor guy with 156 IQ, so I didn't get the benefit of school. My parents were both alcoholics, and I kind of didn't get put out there for the world to see. So I also have lots of issues because of that. But, it is what it is. It is what made me me. I am happy, helpful, kind, grateful, and I buy silver and platinum. You do the same. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you very much again for joining me, and have a great, great, great day.